Greetings, this is Kal Kat, the Kal Katster, and it is time for another movie review. This movie just came out, The Good Dinosaur. Since Mark's Cards and I were at Disneyland and saw the sneak peek, I thought that I would go and see on Black Friday the actual film at the 9:40 showing. Yes, a movie like this you can get tickets to on opening day. But Star Wars Episode 7, I could not get tickets for opening day. It's going to be the next day. But here we have, a Pixar movie, the second this year, and it is The Good Dinosaur. It is essentially, I guess to quote somebody, random person from the IMDb, it's a boy and his dog, basically, but with a dinosaur. The premise of the movie is that the asteroid that destroyed the dinosaurs 65 million years ago in this other story didn't. It passed on by. The dinosaurs evolved into like farmers and scavengers and cattle rustlers and cattle hands, which is kind of interesting. Clayton Cowpoke, way up his alley. Yeah, so Clayton Cowpoke. So yeah, it was way up his alley. And yeah, so the Good Dinosaur is about this little dinosaur that's mother and father and siblings. They have a farm. They farm corn, I guess, and they live on this farm. And the father and the son basically go off on an adventure by accident, kind of like in The Lion King, in that they go off on this adventure and the father is killed. But spoilers, yeah. And then the son has to get back to the farmhouse after being washed down the river. It's where he meets up with the dinosaur that sounds like Clint Cowpoke and his band, and also other perilous things. The main villain is actually the weather. That's on the IMDb as well. It isn't just what I said. It's the nature. It wasn't originally. Apparently, the original story was going to be directed by someone else, and it was taken over because it had a lot of troubles. After Cars 2 didn't do so well, Pixar freaked out. This movie was next. It was a couple of years ago, and they're like, no, and they basically shelved this one for a while and had the production redone by someone else. It has a short before it by somebody named Sanjay. I think that's what it is. And the short is about Indian gods and a power man that shows up, and it's strange. But this story had nothing to do with that. It's completely unrelated. Well, so was the lava with the being in the beginning of Inside Out as well. And you can now get lava Inside Out. You can now get on DVD. But so they used the animation techniques of the sort of photorealistic land masses, mountains, ground, clouds, and all that. It looked really, really good. The photorealistic natural ground and segments and stuff. And I don't know who the directors were, so really the guy that they replaced them with, I can't say who that is really. It doesn't have anybody that I used to know really from the San Jose State days. Although one or two people's names looked familiar, I don't think it was them. So that's interesting. But it was, the dinosaur characters were not photorealistic as much as they kind of made them look cartoonish. The Allosaurus boy looks like a cartoony version of that kind of herbivore, but then the T-Rex is sort of kind of cartoonish a little bit, so he's not as scary as a T-Rex would be. The pterodactyl, those things are kind of scary. The little children will probably be a little freaked out by some of the scenes in it, actually, but not too much. Over 5, they'll be fine. It was a good movie. There were scenes that were emotionally gripping and driving, and so yes, there are scenes that you will need a handkerchief or Kleenex in the movie because they're actually more emotionally touching than in Inside Out. So it's yeah. So be prepared for that. There are some scenes in that are like, oh. But yeah, as for a Pixar movie, it's not nearly as say as dark in parts as Up, which had the very beginning first 20 minutes. I was like, but yeah, or the very end, or the scary part in the middle. But it's definitely one of Pixar's better movies. Some of the critics are being unfair to it. They're saying it's not a great Pixar movie. It's just a good Pixar movie. I think if you get at least one emotional response in a movie where it literally just brings you like, oh my gosh, like, then they've done their work. And this one had 3 of those, so that makes it one of the best movies of the year. 3 of them. It's a roller coaster ride. It's like, oh my goodness, it's amazing. But yeah, so that even more than Inside Out. Inside Out was basically the girl adventure, and this is basically the boy adventure. Yeah, so in a different way, completely. But yeah, the what's it? The little Cro-Magnon boy is kind of. I guess he's supposed to be a Neanderthal boy. Is kind of a riff, a spoof on several other characters. Very similar to. I don't know if they were thinking of the kid from Lemony Snicket, but they kind of were. But yeah, and also, it had some similarities to the Crudes. There was like a kid chopping around in the Crudes as well. So same kind of idea. But I don't think this movie was meant to. I don't think they were thinking of the same thing at the same time. I think with the Crudes, they just drew caveman people, and they kind of looked. I don't think they were connected in any way. Had this been released last year about the same time, instead of being delayed for a year, yeah, there would have been comparisons. But because it wasn't, it hasn't. It isn't. So, yeah, The Good Dinosaur. I don't want to give away too much of it because it just came out, and yeah, so it was good. So go out and see it in theaters. On DVD, it might not have as much impact. See it with an audience. Yeah, and because that's the better way to see it. The Good Dinosaur. Yeah. And for some reason, I didn't get Clint Cowboat to review this one. I guess because it'd be a little odd just having, like, even though he was not one of the voices in the story. Don't be confused. It's just that guy sounded like him a little bit. And if there was 1 or 2 people from San Jose State that were on the team, they just remembered that guy, of course. They remembered Clint Cowboat from San Jose State. I thought it'd be funny if we made him a dinosaur. So good. That's funny. So yeah. So where's the royalty? I'm just kidding. So they would Arlo and Spot. Arlo is the dinosaur, and Spot's the little boy. The farm guy is Papa, and then Mama, and then there's a guy named Thunderclap. That's the T-Rex. But yeah, it's like So yeah, I can't give away too much of it. So yeah, I did give away that one point, but that's part of the movie. That's how the adventure starts out. So you go the Good Dinosaur. Yeah, so it gets a thumbs up, so it's going to be good. Yeah, so the critics that are panning it are probably fogies and old and just don't have fun anymore. I think it's a very fun movie, and they're fogies. They're just not, like, a sense of fun. Maybe it throws them off. Oh no, the dinosaurs. Maybe it's too scientific for them. It's a cartoon. It's for kids. It's not supposed to make sense. Like, come on. It was reminiscent of Disney's dinosaurs, but better than Disney's dinosaurs. Yeah, because that was not all too that great. So yeah, Good Dinosaur.